You have to wash from a complete cup. So let's say it has a chip somewhere here on the top. It's chipped over here. That means if there's a crack over here, that means all the water that's coming over here, over this, is not coming from a keli because here it's cracked. It's going over a crack. Get it? You have to wash. If it's cracked here, the water's not coming, the water's coming out of here. Water's coming over here, but here it's cracked. That means the water's coming over here is coming from something that's not a, it's passing through a place that has a hole. That's the problem. Same goes. So once I had a guest who brought us a gift, a washing cup, but the washing cup had a spout. So if it has a spout, it becomes a problem because it was a spout and the water's coming off the other side. The water, and I'm not remembering all the details, but there's something with the spout. In other words, if it's coming over a spout, that means it's not coming out of a keli because it's a spout. And now the water that's coming, I can't remember now the details, but if it has a spout, there is a problem. A washing cup with a spout could create a problem because the water that's coming through is not necessarily coming from a keli. That I'm missing one detail that I can't explain. So there's something that creates a problem. So something to be aware of. Now another thing. In the middle of a meal, let's say you're eating bread and then you touch yourself, you scratch your head, or you scratch your back, you stick your, you scratch your back, you stick your hand behind your shirt and you scratch yourself. In the middle of a meal of bread, you have to wash your hands again because now your hands aren't clean. You don't have to wash with a bracha because it's questionable, but you have to, that hand that you touched yourself, you have to wash again properly without a bracha. That's if you're eating bread. Of let's say you scratch your ear, you stick your finger inside your ear and you clean your ear, right, with your finger. Okay, so your hand became dirty. So you have to, that hand you have to wash properly, like for bread, without a bracha, because it's questionable about the bracha. So you do not wash with a bracha. When okay, we spoke about washing your hands. You say the bracha before you rub it together. Then we discussed. Oh, what's if you did? We didn't discuss. What's if you don't have any water? If you buy an ocean, there's no water. Yeah, we discussed if there's no water on a trip.
Yeah.
But now I'm discussing something else. There's no water, but there's an ocean.
Oh, that's wash.
There's ocean water. There's ocean.
Take some of the ocean water and wash.
Can you take some of the ocean water and wash with it?
Yeah, but you need to see the water. You need to see if it's like clean or something like that.
The water has to be drinkable.
Yeah.
The water has to be that a dog can drink it. It has to be drinkable. If a dog can't drink the water, it's not good water. Now, water from the ocean is salty, and dogs don't drink that water. So you can't use water from the ocean to wash yourself for bread. They take water from the ocean to wash themselves for bread. Maybe that ocean is not salty, I don't know. If the water is it has to be water that a dog can drink. If it's smelly, bitter, so I assume that the ocean water is salty and you can't drink it, so you can't use that to wash your hands. No, can't. There's something you could do. I'm going to tell you soon. Yeah.
Like, isn't there like a people who maybe don't live so super close to a mikvah or don't have a mikvah by them? They can like play in a lake or an ocean or something like that, right?
You don't want to tape in your hands now?
No. Now I'm talking about like a mikvah situation.
Okay.
Like, isn't that like, if people can like, play their mikvah in the ocean?
Why did you wash your hands with that water?
Yeah.
Very good question. The ocean is the mikveh, is like the best mikveh you can have, is the ocean. But now you have to wash any bread, you can't use that water. And the answer is, that's what I was getting to. You could table your hands. You can table your hands in the water. You can't use it to wash your hands, but you could table your hands in it. In other words, it's not, as a mikveh, it's good. So you could table your hands in it.
You just don't scoop it into another water.
But you want to use it for water. If you're taking out the water, then you're not using it as a mikveh, you're using it as water. Right? Now we're saying, okay, water. What kind of water is this? A dog can't drink it. No good. Now, you want to table your hands in the mikveh? Like, especially you can table your body in the mikveh. A woman needs to go to the mikveh. The ocean is the best mikveh. So you can table your hands also. So if you don't have any water to wash your hands with bread, you could table your hands in the ocean. And then it's going to be a different bracha. Instead of saying the bracha al tilas yadayim, you're going to say the bracha al shetifas yodayim. Al shtifas.
Oh, like washing, like literally on washing hands, right? You wash.
Shtifas means rinsing off.
Oh.
You can say al tvilas also, but shtifas is best. So you can either say al tvilas yadayim. The Alter Rebbe says it's better to say this. Shtifas. Because I guess the original mitzvah was not about tightening your hands, about washing your hands. So that's why it's better to say al shtifas yadayim. But if someone says al tvilas yadayim, it's also good.
And
it's 100%. It's what for bread. But it doesn't help for the morning. In the morning, you have to wash your hands are tummy. In the morning, hands are tummy, you have to wash specifically from the kidney. It's very specific. It's not going to help this thing with tightening your hands.
One last question about that. If you do find yourself by the ocean and you have to do shtifas in there, like how do you wash in the ocean your hands? Specifically without a baby. Like
that's it. The tightening, yeah.
okay.
You're saying, like you said, ocean is a kosher mikveh. If it's a kosher mikveh for your body, it's kosher mikveh for your hands too. Think about it. Tightening your hands. And you say, I'll shtifas yadayim and eat the bread.
And you just dip them in once?
Once. Why? Once is enough. I mean, people table more than once. I mean, you could, but it's really once. There's no point in going 3 times then. I guess you could table 3 times. Some people have a custom to go to the mikveh and table more than once. That's already, but it's really once. Once is enough. Yeah. Now, any water that was used for, you did malacha with it, you used it for something, is not kosher for washing your hands for bread. Let's say you use the water to wash dishes. Or let's say you hurt yourself, you hurt your finger, and you want to put it into cold water. And usually practically let cold water running over if you hurt you. Let's say whatever you soak, you stick your finger, a big can of water because it's ice cold water to make your finger feel better. Now, this water you can't use for washing it because you did something with it. You can't use it for washing your hands. Yeah. Now, the same halachas that you have for washing your hands from bread, you also have for washing anything that's wet. Anything that's wet from the 7 liquids, or I should say 6 liquids, because these are the liquids. This is another one that's not practical. And the more practical is 5. So there's 5 liquids that we're familiar with, and that is wine. Wine includes grape juice, honey, olive oil, milk, and water. If you eat any food that's wet from these liquids, you have to wash your hands the same way like you wash your bread. Only difference is you don't say until it's done without a bracha, because some say you don't have to. So you wash your hands without saying Al Tosidaim. Other than that, it's the same idea. Wash 3 times and no, don't say Al Tosidaim. And it's only if it's food that's wet from these liquids that I mentioned to you. What if you have a mixture of liquids? It's a mixture. It's water and it has fruit juice. Anything that's wet from fruit juice, you don't have to wash your hands. But if it's a mixture, then you go by the majority. Whatever's the majority rules. That's it. Means they cut up, let's say, practically. You want to eat a pickle, open up the jar, take out a pickle from the jar. The pickle is sitting inside liquid. Pickle is wet. You're supposed to wash your hands without a bracha. Many people aren't careful with this, and those who aren't careful, there are lenient opinions that say you don't have to wash your hands. And as you know, the night of Pesach, everyone is careful that they wash their hands for wet foods. That's why when you dip onion salt water, we wash our hands without a bracha because of this reason. Even though all year round, not everyone is careful, but the night of Pesach, everyone is careful. Now, if let's say you wash your hands for wet food because you want to eat a wet pickle, and you wash your hands like you do for bread. After you finish eating the pickle, you say to yourself, I want to have bread. You just wash your hands. You have to wash again. And the answer is you have to wash again without a bracha. Without a bracha. Because it's questionable if you have to wash. Because you just washed. Some say that the washing, even though you just washed, but you didn't have kavod, you didn't have intention for bread. So it doesn't count. So therefore, you wash again without a bracha for bread. That's what you do. Now, what is considered? Now, what about if you want to eat a pickle and you don't want to wash your hands? It's wet. Could you take a fork, stick a fork into the pickle and eat it with the fork? The answer is no. Anything that's usually eaten with your hands, that's what we go by. You have to wash your hands before you eat it. Now you're doing something that's not usual. If everyone eats pickle with a fork, let's say that people eat let's say that you don't have to wash your hands. But if people usually eat with their hand, then we don't care if I'll eat it with a fork. We go according to what's the usual way of eating. Usual way of eating, let's say, is with your hand. You have to wash your hands. If people usually eat with a fork, let's say having a fruit salad. Fruit salad is wet. I mean, usually fruit salad is wet from the juice of the fruit, so it's not a problem. But let's say eating a salad. The salad has olive oil in it. And if you're eating with your hands, you have to wash. Eating with people usually eat salad with a fork. You don't eat with your hands, so you don't have to wash your hands. But something that people usually eat with their hands, even though you can eat with a fork, but we go according to how people usually eat it, and then you have to wash your hands without a bracha. Okay. Any other questions about Tosadim? No? Okay. So let's talk about, you may be familiar that there are some people that accept Shabbos early. They take Shabbos early. You ever heard of that? They take Shabbos early. So from when can you take a Shabbos? What's that time called? That time is called Plag Hamincha. From Plag Hamincha, Plag Gimel, Plag means half of Mincha. Half of Mincha means there's a time called Mincha Ketana. Mincha Ketana, if you believe this, we spoke about Mincha Ketana. There's 2.5 hours before sunset. It's called Mincha Ketana. That's the time when they would bring the afternoon sacrifice in the base of Mikdash from that time. So from Mincha Ketana until sunset is 2.5 hours. You take that, divide it into 2 parts, you get an hour and a quarter. So Plag Hamincha is half of that. So an hour and a quarter before sunset is Plag Hamincha. Sense? No? That makes sense. Then you divide it into 12 parts. Okay, so let's say let's imagine the sun rises 6 and it goes down 6. Okay, let's imagine. So you have 12 hours, because hours go according to sunrise. Okay, so now Plag Hamincha is 3:30. 3:30 is Plag Hamincha. I'm sorry. Mincha Ketana is 3:30. Mincha Ketana. Plag Hamincha is 4:45. An hour and a quarter before sunset, that's Plag Hamincha. So from Plag Hamincha, there is an opinion in the Gemara that says that Plag Hamincha is considered night. This is an opinion like that. Opinion of Rabbi Yehuda that says from Plag Hamincha, that is night, and we rely on his opinion regarding different things. And we also rely on him in regards to taking in Shabbos earlier. That if someone wishes to take in Shabbos earlier from Plag Hamincha, because according to him it's already night, one can accept Shabbos from that time, and it's considered Shabbos. Kiddush, like Shabbos candles, they could accept Shabbos from that time. There are people who do it, especially in summertime, because Shabbos starts late, so for about an hour and a quarter, and because in the summer the hours are longer, so for about an hour and a half, let's say, on our clocks, on the 60-minute hours, it could be already Plag Hamincha, and you could take a Shabbos earlier. It's very practical. If you have kids, you want to put them to sleep, and they're waiting for Kiddush, so you can take a Shabbos earlier. Some families it works, some it doesn't work. They're not ready anyways in time to take Shabbos early. So that's from Plag Hamincha. So let's like I hear an example these days, just to be a little more practical. Okay, so now this Friday we have Plag Hamincha. Shkia is 7:45. Lichbenchen, I guess, is 7:27. And Plag Hamincha is 6:23. So right now the hours didn't get so long yet, because Shkia is 7:45. On Plag Hamincha, it's an hour and a quarter. It's an hour and a quarter on the 60-minute hours. So it's, in other words, it's halachically hour and a quarter earlier, and it happens to be that in the hours now, that it also comes out an hour and a quarter, and hours too, which is 60-minute hours, right? In other words, Plag Hamincha is an hour and a quarter before the sun sets. When we say an hour and a quarter, we mean halachic hours. In the summer, the hours become longer. I'm just bringing out right now the hours are still regular hours, because Plag Hamincha is actually about an hour and a quarter, an hour clock. So it's still the 60-minute hour. That's an hour and a quarter before the sun sets. So this Friday, Plag Hamincha is 6:23. So 6:23, Keben Shlicht, taking my Kiddush. Now, if someone does that, they have to be aware of a few halachas. And that is, if someone is going to be accepting Shabbos early, Plag Hamincha, means they're going according to opinion that says it's already night. Benching Licht, Merev, Kiddush. So now they have to make sure to daven Mincha before that time. Because if they're going according to this opinion that it's already night, that means you can't daven Mincha anymore at that time. So that they can't play the games from both sides. Can't 6:23 and daven Mincha stay. 6:23 is opinion that says it's also night. You know, which way do you play the game? You want to go according to that opinion? So follow through. So now if you're going to be accepting Shabbos from 6:23, then you have to make sure to daven mincha before 6:23. And then comes 6:23, like candles, like say Kiddush, Kedav Meir, Kabbalah Shabbos. Some people will still, even though they're taking Shabbos earlier, they will not daven the full Kabbalah Shabbos. They will do Kabbalah Shabbos, but only till Baruch Hu. They will not say Shema and Shema Esrei because they want to do it when it's actually dark. Because when you do usually daven Shema, when you daven Ma'ariv usually when it's dark Friday night, not when it's still light outside. So therefore, it is best not to daven the whole davening while it's still day, even though you're allowed to. You could take in Shabbos and Shlicht to Kabbalah Shabbos and Tchum, then have the Shabbos meal, and then do the rest later. You can do that. It's 100% fine. Now, here's something important, and that is that when you are saying Kiddush, when you're doing Kiddush, you have to make sure that it's before the sun sets. You see, a half an hour before it becomes dark, you're not allowed to sit down for a meal because he didn't say applies mainly to the men because they have to say Shema. So they're not allowed to start a meal a half an hour before it becomes dark, which is about half an hour before dark is about when the sun sets. So if all this that we're saying you're allowed to do, you have to make sure that you have to do Kiddush and end up washing before the sun sets. Because once the sun is setting, now, 1 second, you didn't say Shema yet. The men are obligated to say Shema. Time of Shema is when it's dark. And then say Shema yet. You're not supposed to wash for meal, especially for a big meal, the Shabbos meal, before you say Shema. So they're supposed to be doing Kiddush and washing before the sun sets. Now, because they didn't do Shema in time, the time of saying Shema is when it starts, you have to keep in mind to say Shema later when it gets dark. There's some people they have in the habit, whenever they say Shema when they go to sleep, and our custom we say all three parshas Shema till Emes, they'll have intention when they're saying it that they want to fulfill the mitzvah of Krishma, of Shema. And then if they have that in mind, they have done the mitzvah of saying Shema. And then, even if they, like Friday night, if they're taking Shabbos early and then say Shema yet, there's no concern about forgetting Shema because they have the habit every time they say Shema when they go to sleep, they have in mind they want to fulfill the mitzvah of Shema. So even though the men say Shema in Ma'ariv, but they say Shema again before they go to sleep. In our custom, we say all three parshas. Others only say one parsha. So those who, let's say, have the custom whenever they say Shema before they go to sleep, they have in mind that they want to fulfill the mitzvah of Shema again, then they solve this issue of, then they don't have to say Shema again right after the meal, whereas usually if a person takes a Shabbos early, they have the meal early, they didn't say Shema yet. They did say Shema, let's say, but it's too early. Later, when it gets dark, they have to say Shema again. Or they didn't say Shema at all, whatever. But whenever they go to sleep and they say Shema, they have in mind, when they say Shema, when they go to sleep, they have in mind that they're going to fulfill the mitzvah of saying Shema. Now they're doing the mitzvah of Shema. So that's good. Now, this that we're talking about, that from Plag Hamincha is already night, according to one opinion. So I'm explaining how it applies to us, like taking Shabbos early. There are some communities that all year round, the shul, they daven ma'ariv early. They will daven mincha, let's say, well, every shul does different shuls doing different things, but some shuls would daven mincha before the sun sets, and daven ma'ariv right after the sun sets. It's not dark yet, but the sun set, they daven ma'ariv. They're relying on this opinion. That says from Plag Hamincha is already night. Some will daven ma'ariv even before sunset. They rely on this opinion, and it's one shulchan that there's something significant about doing this, because otherwise people will leave and they won't daven ma'ariv with a minyan. So there is something about being lenient, and so there are shuls here, not here. There are from shuls around that do this. That all year round, all week, the men go to shul, mincha, and do ma'ariv right afterwards. Otherwise, people leave, they won't daven with the minyan, and because they're relying on this opinion, and they all know they have to daven ma'ariv again. Now they have to daven, say Shema again. They say Shema again. Our custom is not so. To us, davening on time is more important after it's dark, more important than davening with the minyan. So for us, if let's say someone is in such a place and they're taking it, they're doing it so without making a big issue. If someone said Lubavitch lives in such a community, it's they do so. That's only shown who'll go there. He'll make like he's davening, not to look different, not to cause any friction, like when he's doing something different. But really, what those who really know what the best thing is that they daven later on their own. But they hear that it's Amen, Yishmeralba, Barku, they can answer all that, and then when it's dark, they come home later and they daven on their own. That's Shema. You could say anyway. Shema. When we come in, you say Shema together. Like in the show, it applies more to the men because you're in the same room. So whenever the congregation is saying Shema, you have to say Shema together with them. It shouldn't look as if, God forbid, you are not there believing Hashem and it doesn't look like. So the halach is that when the congregation is saying Shema, everyone says Shema together. Unless you are in the blessings of Shema, we discussed there's a certain place you can interrupt, like in the Psukkah Zimra, to Baruch Shem Yishtabach, where you can interrupt for more things, or we also interrupt to say Shema, Yeshma Yisrael. But in Bichas Krishma, then you don't. So in Bichas Krishma, it says, in order you should look like you're together with everyone, it says you should cover your eyes like everyone else. Without saying anything, because you can't interrupt during Bichas Krishma. Once after you start Yotzei the Cheshach. I mean, in other words, you can't interrupt to say Shema, but if everyone's saying Shema, you can cover your eyes so you look like you're part of them. Let's put down. Yeah. So this is something that's even in Crown Heights. I mean, there are some shows that do it. Even with families with little children, and when you go to sleep, they will take it Shabbos early. It's not so common in Chabad. It's more common in other places. Chabad, it's not so common because in 770 by the Rebbe it wasn't done. By the Rebbe it wasn't done. Especially it's brought down. The Rebbe Hasham had a custom of saying a ma'amah for like 2.5 hours straight Friday night. So in Chabad, Friday night the emphasis was to come to Shul and learn the Sikha and learn the ma'amah, not about Rosh Hashanah going to eat right away. This is not our, emphasis, but it's not going against about minute. It's just not our focal point. Okay, taking Shabbos early to start Shabbos early, because there is some significance in taking Shabbos early. And for us, it's more significant to go to shul and learn something in Chassidus or Yeshiva. But that's our emphasis. But not that if someone does it, he's going against, he's not doing anything wrong. That's why it's not so common in Crown Heights with I've been warned by one show that they do it, but I also notice that sometimes the shul that do it, they don't know the rules, they will discuss again. Mincha has to be before Plag Hamincha, and then you accept Shabbos after Plag Hamincha, not Dam Mincha after Plag Hamincha, then you Dam Kabbalah Shabbos. It's not totally wrong. Those who do it's not like transgression, but it's not way down to them. That's what should be done. Mincha has to be before Plag Hamincha. We don't want to contradict ourselves by after Plag Hamincha we're down in Mincha because it's day. And then we're down in Maya because now we go by the other opinion. So now you take both opinions. It doesn't make sense. You want to take this opinion, okay? You go with the opinion after Plag Hamincha is night. Accepting Shabbos, because the opinion says after Plag Hamincha is night. You're going by this opinion? Okay, so now make sure you're down in Mincha before Plag Hamincha. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're taking both opinions on the same day?
I was just gonna say, I myself in Plag, but like I grew up like a broken balls once, and then you just shoot a shit for sure, and then all
Yeah.
the men from Marav.
You do what?
They do like men from Marav before like Shabbos starts, like or when Shabbos comes in, like they'll come back like with even fun, like they do Marav.
Well, it's still day.
Yeah, and I
Because
was
you
just,
Shabbos early.
I
Yeah.
was just gonna ask,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
so they
that's what I'm
consider it to be night at that point, like that's the opinion.
So they doubt right. So not that's what I'm saying. It's not. Now to them it's just the chatchila. That's how it should be done. So they down mincha after Plag Hamincha. You're saying
Yeah, and then like it's still sunny out, like they'll take the shots a little bit early, and then like it'll still
right?
be sunny.
Because
Especially
what
in
I'm
summer,
saying
right?
is, and Mr. Down to them says,
Right, okay.
and other opinions aren't so strong about this. Down to them makes it very clear that one should not contradict themselves on the same day.
But they hold that it's night, even when it's still sunny.
They're going by the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda.
Um,
The afternoon is night, but they're taking both opinions on the same day. Down to them is the one that says that you shouldn't do such a thing. Now, but they're not saying someone who does it is like, not like davening is not valid, and no. It is, but it's not. Down to them makes it very clear that you shouldn't do it this way. Because it contradicts himself. And all the other people, they do it that way. So, but it's not, down to them sets it up. Yeah, I do wonder why they don't accept it, because it's very logical that you on the same day you're taking two, you're going with this opinion, that opinion. But I guess they fear because there's a mitzvah to take in Shabbos early, that could be the reason. Significance of taking Shabbos in early, they feel that's okay because of the significance of taking Shabbos early. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah, this is the right way to do it. Oh, another important thing is that you're starting the meal before while it's still day. And during the day, you're going to be eating the challah. And so you eat the challah before the sun sets, because you're taking Shabbos early. So Tzedek says, you should make sure that later on, when it gets dark, eat another kazayis, another like half ounce of challah. Like this, you should also be eating challah actually at night of Shabbos also. That's the proper thing. Chatchila. If someone does it, it's still here, but there is chatchila, that's, you should make sure to eat another kazayis of challah after it's dark. Yeah. Now you know what to do. I'm taking Shabbos early. Okay. Good Shabbos, everyone.
There's one.